nearing September 11th. We are sitting in the studio on Wednesday, September 5th, and it's just really been on my mind lately and a little heavy on my heart, and I'm going to apologize in advance if I get emotional with this particular opening read. But I just really started thinking about, that whole idea of, one person, what one can do, and how often maybe sometimes we shy away from making a difference in the world because we do feel like, well, I'm just one person, what can I do? And so as I just kind of sat down at the keyboard this week and just started typing away, the phrase came to me, if not you, then who? A great deal of history is told through the events surrounding a single pivotal figure, one man or one woman who stepped up and stepped out of obscurity and the comfort of anonymity to do something. Whether it is Mother Teresa, who left a life of financial security to become a helper to the least, the last, and the lost, or George Washington, who most wanted to just be a farmer, but who sacrificed the majority of his earthly life to fight and lead and father a nation, or that one teacher in junior high school who made all the difference in the pathway you chose in your own life. Everything important seems to come down to one person making a decision to serve and be selfless. And my friends, it seems that right now, today, we are very much in need of people who are willing to act in that singular fashion and step up to defend our constitutional values. Never before in the history of the United States have our constitutional rights been more under attack. Our Constitution had the misfortune of being written by human beings, and nothing is more flawed than human beings. Naturally, if we are flawed, and we are, then we are going to have a history that is messy, and it has a few stains and tears in the fabric. The quilt of our nation has brought much good to the world and much protection to the oppressed, but there are a few squares that bear the misstitched scars of darker times. And the rights restrictors, taking advantage of the imperfect nature of this quilt, would very much like to shred it, burn it, and pretend that none of it ever happened. Or, at least, undermine and obliterate the work of generations of people who have fought and bled and died for the chance to live out the promise that America holds. No other place on earth offers the life, liberty, and the relatively unencumbered pursuit of happiness like this patch of dry land that spans from the Atlantic to the Pacific Oceans that we know as our nation. The United States, even with our missteps, is a unique and shining beacon to the world. But the rights restrictors do not want that. They want the United States to be ordinary and more like other nations who have actually looked to us during times of their own difficulty. What an odd errand to be on. What nation, what organization, and what person seeks to be less than their full potential? Again, in that pursuit to be the best we can be, there are indeed times when America has fallen short of that purpose. But there is always hope in our Constitution and our Bill of Rights that redirects and guides us ever to that goal. Within those two founding documents is the protection for each and every single citizen, the individual, that one person who at any given moment in time will be the one who changes the lives around them for the better. That person might well be you. We are the direct recipients of the protections and the advantages afforded us by the blood, the sweat, and the tears of our great-great-grandparents, and we bear a weighty responsibility to be good stewards of those values and pass them along to our children and our children's children, unadulterated and whole. This is no doubt the reason why our founding fathers included the clause "shall not be infringed" to the language of our constitutional right to self-protection. They knew that the rights restrictors would infiltrate our nation and our government and attempt to twist and pollute and nullify our liberties. So, when the rights restrictors seek to alter, weaken, and redirect our pathway that offers freedom to future generations of Americans, who will step up and say no? Who will educate themselves so that they can pass along wisdom to the young people in our lives? And who will make informed decisions in the voting booth that honor our Constitution? We, patriots, you and I, that's who. And together, we will set the example. And as Mahatma Gandhi, another singular history maker, said, we will be the change we want to see in the world, not for our own sake, but for the sake of those yet to be born, those yet to know the liberties and the freedoms we've known. And in doing so, our lives will be a tangible example, an unveiled and open-faced challenge to others to protect and preserve American values, asking, even without words, everyone we encounter, if not you, then who? Dan?